Hey World Vision fans, this is your global original Nashtaters. Welcome you guys back to another episode of War of the Visions. So today I really want to make a short video before the actual stream comes on tonight, later at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. So I wanted to actually touch on which unit I'm thinking about building first to EX Job 25 and beyond. One of the things I want to do is kind of go over some of the criteria that I want to meet first, because the way I'm thinking in my approach to this situation is that I essentially want to make sure that I cover the PvE content, because PvP will always be there and most likely I'm going to be lagging behind on that anyways. I do necessarily want to concentrate on Guild Wars because that is something that I make sure I want to do my duty as a guildie for my guild. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over all the different criteria and potential units that I want to take to EX Job 25 first. So before we get into this topic at hand, let's go ahead and do a little house cleaning. Yesterday I did a stream. I want to thank everyone for showing. There were quite a few number of new faces, so I really appreciate you guys taking the time to spend some time with me on a Friday night. And there were a lot of topics that we talked about yesterday, and we got a little deep in certain situations, but for the most part it was lighthearted. And I think the biggest thing we want to talk about yesterday was anticipation of what collaboration we're going to be hopefully seeing soon. And hopefully they will announce some of that tonight. So I also did not do a video on Thursday because I want to make sure I took that topic that I was thinking about on Thursday and transfer it to Saturday. Now many of you guys know recently I really don't do videos on Saturdays and Sundays anymore, but because this weekend is special, I want to make sure that I do coverage on Saturday and Sunday and still have some time off from the game and of course YouTube itself. So I feel like it made perfect sense in terms of the timeline. So let's go ahead and get into the topic at hand. Let's begin this topic of conversation by discussing which units I'm really leaning towards to become my first unit to take to job 25 or level cap of 120. My understanding is there are going to be some restrictions to the materials we're going to be gaining, because in order to actually open up job 25, you'll need one specific material to do so. And that's going to be most likely very limited for free-to-play players. And even for people who are spending money, it still might be limited, right? The EX25's design essentially is every month they're going to be releasing only a few units that you have the capability to increase the level cap to 120, because it takes so much farming to get all the materials to do so. My suggestion is do this. If you're unsure or your favorite unit is not released within the first couple of months, simply just farm all the materials if possible from the different quests and just keep farming until you can save enough that as soon as your favorite unit has the ability to go EX25, do it at the moment it is released and bam, you can get it done. For those of you who don't care too much about PvP, that's most likely what the first couple of months is going to be like. A lot of people are going to be rushing to build certain units that are available to us to perhaps take a foothold in the PvP situations. Personally, as a responsible guildie, I feel like I need to make sure I at least get some units that's available to me to perhaps at least 110 or 115 so I can have a sort of a fighting chance in Guild Wars. But at the end of the day, I also realize with level 99s that I have, with the gear and the vision cards that I have, there's a possibility that I may still be able to do my cleanup duties, which essentially was I've been doing a lot quite lately. So I'm okay with that job, to be honest. Also, bear in mind that most likely the experts are going to get the 3-star awakening treatment. So I think that's where the PvE content starts getting escalated, because that is very challenging from my understanding. And you most likely need some really solid tanks and some really good healers and, a couple of damage dealers. So the way my philosophy approach of the EX25 implementation is that I make sure I get my tanks up first. And of course, the only option I think I really have in the beginning is going to be Mont. As you can see here, I have him highlighted in my favorites. I think he's going to be a solid option for every player in this game to try to tackle some of that PvE content right off the bat. And as we get higher and higher in escalation of PvE difficulty, Of course, by that point, maybe in month 3, 4, or 5, you should have at least a full squad of level 120 units potentially. So just bear in mind, just because the new EX25 / level 120 cap is going to be here soon, it doesn't mean every unit you have at level 99 is going to be moot point, right? They're still going to do their job fine. It's just that it's going to get harder and harder in terms of difficulty and content. Therefore, in order to meet that difficulty, you need to have your units up to par as well. So Mont is definitely, in my opinion, one of the units that perhaps people should consider. And of course, Titus, most likely, if it's still free on global, is someone that we should consider. Now, he's not a tank per se, but most likely because of the raw stats he's going to receive, he can actually do some good for you on your team. But just bear in mind, it's going to be a lot of investment from starting scratch with Titus, right? Even if they give us different opportunities to earn shards throughout that period, you still have to invest heavily, at least materials, on top of gaining that 1,000 shards. And so I think Mon is the safest bet. And even though a lot of players don't enjoy Mon, I still think he's great, because I think now that he's going to get a guaranteed hit, he's going to get the extra stat boost. To me, at least makes sense, because the game is going cyclical, right? If you guys notice, when the game first came out, Mon was what everybody essentially went to as a tank, perhaps Engelbert. But most likely Engelbert isn't going to be on that list right off the bat. So Mon might be your favorite, or maybe your only option as a sort of a tank. So it makes sense. And now that we're sort of resetting the whole game back to sort of level 99, whereas now level 99 is going to be the new starting point, Mon being there as your perhaps first tank also makes a lot of sense, because the company wants to write off of Mon as the main character focus of this game. Now for me, if I don't do Mont, or perhaps only can do one unit, I have to think about maybe doing a unit that is going to be healer, because I know damage dealer, a lot of people think that would be the way to go, but most of the farming you can still probably do with Eldyra or Halloween Little Leela. So of course regular Stern could be an option. Of course another option will be Frederica, and she's really good actually. And then another option, of course, is Ziza, who is going to get essentially a humongous boost in damage, from my understanding anyways. And so those are really good options. And of course, there's always going to be Rob. Rob is also a very good unit, and his TMR is just very good when paired with other slashing units. So those are some really solid options as the first units to take to job EX25. If Ayaka is available on global right off the bat, I think she might be the unit for me to take, simply because there's an opportunity missed if you don't do her and you went with Yuna, because Yuna is going to be very expensive to do, whereas most likely Ayaka shouldn't be too expensive for people to do, since you only need what, 400 shards to finish her off. So if she is available, I think she's a very solid option for my perspective, because I think when she hits 25 and level 120, she's going to get a lot of new skills that's going to essentially make her a lot better, and hopefully that's what I'm looking for. And if that's not the case, then I may end up just sticking with Mon and or Titus, or just maybe just do Titus and kind of go from there. It really depends on how things played out tonight, because they need to announce first and foremost how many of these materials they're going to be giving us for the first month, and which unit is going to be available in terms of EX25 availability, and ultimately, is it possible for people to build more than say 5 units right off the bat in the beginning of the month. And so whatever the case is, we'll see, because I personally can't wait. I'll be watching it live, and I hope you guys be watching it live as well. So yesterday during live stream, I got really lucky with my luck. And since you guys made it this far to the end of the video, we're gonna do again rewarding of the free 10x summons and see where that goes. And remember, like, the reason Mana could be such a good choice is because of the fact that they're giving us these mind visions or mind spheres at the end of each of these 10x summons. I think they give you 40. So that means 7 days multiplied by 40 is 280. And so you're already only needing 120 to get to, obviously, the 400 shards that you're going to be needing for Mont. The only thing is, you can also buy his shards from the shop for gold, which is super easy, right? And so I think they're encouraging us to build Mont. I'm just thinking about, like, if I have a different tanking option, I'll go with that. And of course, Agrius is will be a unit that I definitely ideally want to go. And then of course Warrior of Light, which I think they recently just got in Japan. So those are all huge possibilities. Here we go. And nothing. Cannot wait for tonight's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live stream from the company talking about what's going to be happening next Wednesday. I hope you guys are going to be there watching live as well, because I know I will. And then tomorrow, I'm probably going to do a reaction video in terms of what I'll be doing while I'm watching a live. I'll simply upload it tomorrow morning. All right, that's all the time for this video. Thank you for the support. Thank you for watching. And thank you for spending some time on my channel. Until next time, take care of yourself and all your loved ones. Nashtaters out of here. Have a great one.